Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is placement and angles. And what I'm referring to is, for one, like how you angle your hand on the guitar neck. I find that some folks will angle their hand like this, and then when they try to do some of the stretchier type things that I do, they just can't do it. And that's because you've got to turn your hand this way to where your your fingers are parallel to the frets, and that will give you a greater reach or stretch. Another thing is you've got to have your thumb back behind the guitar neck, somewhere in the middle. You could do this like if you had your thumb, say here, look how much you can stretch. But as you bring your thumb up over the neck, okay, your hand starts to close up. You can't stretch it as much, but the more you bring it back around the neck, it just allows you to open your fingers up to have a greater reach. So that's two key things, is to try to keep your fingers more parallel to the frets and your thumb back behind the neck, somewhere in the middle. Now, that's not saying I never play like this. I find that, whenever I'm doing some bluesier playing, having my hand more at an angle with my thumb right here, helps me to play that way, with more of that type of a phrasing, with vibrato and whatnot. But, again, for a lot of the stretchier type things, you're going to have to, have your fingers parallel to the frets and thumb back behind the neck. Let's see, another thing I want to talk about is the way you place your picking hand on the guitar. Like, I noticed that some guys, they'll just have their hand floating above the strings, and really whatever works for you is best. But for me, I like to put my palm, this part of my hand right here, on the bridge. Now, I don't put a lot of weight into it. It just lightly rests on the bridge. For my picking, my forearm is anchored on the guitar, rests on the guitar, and then my palm rests lightly on the bridge. And that also comes into play with my string dampening technique, which we'll get into here in a second. The way I hold my pick is with my first finger and my thumb, and I angle the pick at a basically like about a 45-degree angle when I'm picking. Now, I've seen some guys, or heard that some guys will angle it at a 45-degree angle, but it's reverse, the way that I do it. Like Sean Lane, who's an incredibly fast picker, he kind of reverses that 45. I kind of angle mine down. He angles his up. So again, just whatever works for you.